The Volvo XC60 is finally available in Malaysia, just 1 year after it made its debut at the Geneva Motor Show in March last year. Actually, it's less than 1 year, and that's pretty quick by any measure. What we have here is the top-of-the-line T8 twin-engine Inscription Plus, and it's fully imported from Sweden, priced at 374,000 ringgit. It looks like the XC90, but this is obviously smaller, and it goes against the BMW X3, Audi Q5 and Mercedes-Benz GLC. This one here is fully kitted and comes with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and it undercuts the locally assembled XC90 by a full 40,000 ringgit despite being a CBU unit. Before we start talking about this car, the model that you should really be interested in is the locally assembled XC60, which will be available starting in April. The good news is you can start placing your bookings today, and there will be 3 versions available for you to choose. The CKD lineup starts with the entry-level T5 Momentum that's priced at 299,000 ringgit, but unlike before, there won't be a T6 version, going up instead to the T8 twin engine that will be offered in 2 trims, which is the Inscription and Inscription Plus models. It's also worthy to note that the new T5 is 30,000 ringgit more expensive than the old T5 model. Pricing for the top spec CKD XC60 is at 343,000 ringgit, or a full 30,000 ringgit cheaper than this unit right here. Specs wise, it will be by and large the same, except that the CKD versions will lose out on air suspension. And as an added bonus, all variants, including the base T5 Momentum, will get all-wheel drive, compared to the old one, which was only available in front-wheel drive. So, if the CKD batch is coming, who then is gonna buy this car? Simple. For those who can afford it and want to be the first to own it. And before you register your interest in the CBU unit, I just want to tell you that all units have been spoken for, so might as well just go for the CKD units. Let's first start talking about the most interesting bit of the car, that is the plug-in hybrid engine. Under the bonnet, or rather, under this soft touch engine cover, is a road tax friendly 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, and it's the exact same one found in the XC90 and S90 T8. That means it gets 407 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque, making it even more powerful than the AMG powered GLC 43, which is a 540,000 ringgit car that comes with a 3-litre twin-turbo V6. Primary propulsion comes from a twin-charge engine, which means it gets a turbocharger and a supercharger for a more linear power delivery. The engine alone makes 320 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque, and it's complemented by a secondary engine in the form of an electric motor, which is mounted on the rear axle. Marry the 2 engines together and you get 407 horsepower and 640 Nm of torque. It's incredibly powerful, no doubts about that, and in fact, it's the most powerful SUV in its class. Together with an 8-speed automatic, the 0 to 100 sprint is done in 5.3 seconds, and it will go onwards to 230 km per hour as its top speed. Now, it's crazy because this car weighs 2.1 tons. Now that's really impressive. For those of you who are new to the Volvo way of doing things, the T8 badge means it's a plug-in hybrid, and one way of knowing is through this charging port right here. The XC60 is equipped with a 10.4 kWh battery pack that offers a cruising range of up to 45 km when fully charged, and it's neatly tucked away in the center tunnel, meaning boot space is not compromised at all. Volvo says it takes anywhere between 2 to 7 hours to charge up the battery depending on the charger that you use, but most of us just charge it overnight like we do with our cell phones anyway. There's regenerative charging as well, and you can even prompt the engine to function as a generator to recharge the battery, but you end up using extra fuel. Now let's talk about the exterior. It's basically a shrunken down version of the XC90, and it still looks really good. It's visually less commanding, of course, because of its smaller size, but there is no mistaking this for anything other than a Volvo when you see this on the road. Here we get the nice, bold inscription grille with the Iron Mark badge, full adaptive LED lights with Thor's Hammer daytime running lights, front parking sensors, and a forward-facing camera and radar system for the incredibly extensive Volvo IntelliSafe safety system. Round the side, it gets 19-inch 10-spoke diamond-cut alloy wheels, which look eerily similar to the S90s. door-mounted side mirrors with signal indicators and a camera down here, as well as nice metalwork down here to complement this beautiful chrome strip. Over at the back, again, unmistakably Volvo. This nice-looking L-shaped LED strip outlines the rear proportion and forms the taillights. And unlike the XC90, the LED strip stretches all the way towards the center like the V90, you know, just in case you can't tell that it's an XC60. One more thing I really like about this car is the way the exhaust looks and how it fits to the overall look of the car. But upon closer inspection, you'll find a real pipe in the center, so this isn't the real deal. If you think the XC60 looks very familiar on the outside, then in here is pretty much a carbon copy of the XC90 and S90. Everything from the steering wheel, the instrument cluster, the dash layout, the head unit, and even this media control is really as close as it gets. Even the controls down here, with the layout and the switches and the buttons, even the cubby holders are similar. There are, however, a few exceptions. The middle section of the dash is a little different, and this whole piece of driftwood trim is crafted from a single piece of wood, real wood. This thin strip of chrome outlining the wood just adds another touch of class. As you can expect from a car in this class and price range, the quality of materials used throughout the cabin is pretty solid. You've got soft touch plastics here and here, as well as down here with some leather, and nothing really feels out of place, cheap or tacky. Everything is just really, really nice. With the Inscription Plus, you get a 15-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system with 10-channel Class D amplifier. It's standard here with a CBU unit, but if you want this in the CKD version, make sure to go for the Inscription Plus and not the Inscription. This option alone costs 10,000 ringgit, but this is something you and all your passengers, even your deaf grandparents, will really enjoy. So the standard equipment here, or any other XC60s for that matter, would be this 9-inch Sensors Connect touchscreen head unit, diamond cut twist to start knob and drive mode selector, dual zone climate control, and powered leather seats. The Inscription trim gets this big panoramic glass roof, beautiful crystal gear knob made by Swedish glassmaker Orifors, paddle shifters, and power folding rear seats. By the way, the leather seats can be had in two colors, charcoal or maroon brown. Now, let's check out the back seats. Back here, as you can see, space is pretty decent. It's probably not as spacious as the GLC, but I don't think anyone's gonna complain. I've got the seats adjusted to my driving position, and you see, I've got at least 2 knuckles worth of space here. Headroom as well, not too bad. Window opening, pretty large, so you don't feel claustrophobic in this back seat right here. And you've also got a nice armrest that stick out better than a Bentley Bentayga. But there's one thing I have to point out about this car is the footwell down here. Notice how the 2 mounts for the rails for the seats to move front and back, it's getting in the way of the footwell, so you don't get as much space for your feet. The center hump, on the other hand, it's not a problem. It's a very common SUV thing, and the battery is built in here. There's no center air vents here, but it's built into the B pillars, which could be enough, I guess. Unfortunately, there's no integrated booster seats back here, but you do get ISOFIX mounting points down here. But let me show you one thing I really like about this car. Underneath this seat is an opening for you to keep large items such as a iPad mini, or a large iPad would fit there, no problem. Why? Because they can. As for practicality, this car's boot space is just a little bit bigger than the older model. Here it gets 505 liters of space, but the older car had 495 liters. It's not class leading, that's for sure, but the Mercedes GLC and upcoming BMW X3 both get 550 liters of space. But you know, it's still decent, plus you can fold the rear seats down to make room to fit more stuff in here. Models with air suspension get to lower the rear axle via the 2 buttons right here. Lastly, all XC60s come with Volvo's full range of safety technologies as standard, and nothing else out there comes close to what this guy offers. There's city safety, detection for pedestrian and cyclists and large animals, lane keeping aid, blind spot monitoring, and a number of active features that make sure you stay within your lane when you're driving. With the Inscription, however, you get an extra feature called Pilot Assist, which automatically accelerates and brakes for you when driving at up to speeds of 130 km/h. and every purchase of the XC60 comes with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty package. Overall, the XC60 is priced just a little bit higher than some cars in its class, most notably the Mercedes-Benz GLC 250, but it does come with a whole lot more kit. What do you think of the car? Let us know in the comment section below. This has been Matthew. Thank you for watching, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one.